There is a massive gap between an idea in your head and a finished garment that fits perfectly. Most people only show you the highlight reel, but my process is so highly built on trial and error. So today I'm drafting a custom set from a blank roll of paper, and I'm leaving all the mistakes, the bad fittings, and the slow corrections in so you can see exactly how a perfect fit is actually engineered and why fast fashion is so horribly underpriced. So here's the plan. I'm making a jacket and pants set completely from scratch. And if any of you have watched my previous videos, you'll know that I usually channel all of my designs to me pretty much as soon as I finish a project, the next download comes in. So once I was at the final stitches for my psychedelic sun hat, pretty much the next download just came straight to me, and I had this beautiful idea for a matching jacket and pants set with some self-woven fabric kind of accents. So today we are doing all of the preparation work for this set, which includes weaving the fabric that needs to be the self-woven accents, as well as getting the pattern all spick and span so it's just ready to go and super easy smooth sailing. Can you find yourself through making? I'm Zoe, and after recovering from a long battle with burnout, I moved to the Japanese countryside to rediscover my creativity. I spent a year experimenting with everything from traditional dyeing techniques to yarn spinning, and learning that the real art was simply finding joy again. Now, I document my life here on the mountain, the crafts I love, the food I make, and the life with my gorgeous dog Miso. If you're looking for a bit of slow living and creative inspiration, I'd love for you to follow along. And all of the projects you see me make on this channel are available for custom order, so flick me an email today at zoemorimotoartist@gmail.com. I started off feeling dangerously confident, and to be honest, the jacket wasn't too hard because I was basing it off of a previous pattern I had already made, which is my broken weave jacket that I made about the same time last year. But to be honest, there was just one thing that has annoyed me about this jacket that if I could redo it, I totally would, and that is to raise the center front on the neck a little bit higher. For some reason, I thought it would end a bit higher, but it just didn't work out, and it's about 2 to 3 centimeters lower than I actually wanted. So it just meant that I had to kind of pull this bit up and then recalculate the collar to match the new curve. So if you wear a t-shirt or something with this, it kind of sits here and you can see it peeking through, and I really don't like that. What I'm thinking to do is to have the collar and the patch pockets in the same kind of fabric that I made, that is the recycled Saori thread. This is the recycled Saori thread. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weave this into some more fabric. So like in my latest hat that I did, and then also when I was going to Australia, I made a pocket out of this, and I just really loved the way it worked. So my idea is to make a jacket that the collar is made out of that, potentially the patch pockets, but I'm still undecided if that will be too much. And then I want to make a matching pair of pants that have the stripe down the side, kind of like if you wear a pair of like sports track pants, and for example Adidas do their 3 stripes down the side of the leg. I want to do that with my self-woven fabric, and the base of the fabric is just going to be really neutral. So this is the roll here, and I don't know if you guys can see, but it has quite a textured appearance. So I really like the texture of this. It is very thick. It's kind of like borderline workwear drill kind of vibe. And yeah, I just really loved this fabric. I had a vision of this fabric come into mind when I channeled the next designs, and I didn't even know if this kind of fabric existed. And then I found the exact fabric that I thought of in the fabric shop, and I was like, oh my god, and I was having a full moment, and I was just like, wow, that is so cool. I didn't even know what the fabric was called or what it was, and I just had this vision, and then it just appeared in front of me. So it was really, really cool. But yeah, it's just this kind of like a really thick calico, I think. But I just really like the texture on it. So that's kind of what I'm drawn to. And I think it will just like contrast really nicely with my self-woven fabric. So I'm really looking forward to make this, but of course, first we have to get the pattern made right. So that's kind of what I'm gonna focus on today. Now this part was pretty straightforward. All I had to do was trace over the old pattern and fix the neckline and collar. So I think I really got this done in about 3 or 4 hours. It really didn't take me that long. And I just had to cut it out, twirl it up, and check that it all fitted right, basically. So I have just finished altering the collar now. So my original collar was obviously for a different neckline. So I actually just ended up sewing the old collar on, pinning out the excess and getting it to the shape that I liked, and then I just traced over that. I find with collars it's a lot easier to just kind of check the shape when you're doing a twirl and pin it out and then do the pattern. Otherwise it's just so hard trying to get the perfect shape when you're drawing in 2D. So I always like to just kind of do it so I can see what's happening as it's happening and then figure out the paper pattern later. So this is what I have so far for the jacket. I'm pretty happy with everything so far. The collar I managed to fix, and what was kind of interesting to me is that I ended up putting like a little bit of a fit kind of line in the waist here. Before it was just kind of going straight down, because for my previous jacket I wanted it as boxy as possible, but even though it is still very boxy, it does have just a slight kind of hip line going through there, and I just think it makes it look just a little bit nicer. So I'm on to my next step, which is preparing the warp thread for my loom. Now I am making a jacket and a pants set, so I will need to keep that in mind. About this warp thread is because it is so narrow, only 5 centimeters. I literally finished making the warp thread here in about 5 minutes.
A guest has decided to come and visit and invite Miso. She just woke up from her afternoon nap, as you can see. Hey, what are you gonna do for the rest of the day, Miso?
Spool number 1. I'm just taking a minute to stop and pause here now because look at how fucking amazing this looks. Oh my god. So because this is so narrow, it's like barely got any of the white coming through, and so much of the beautiful silk is showing through, and I just love how these are all loopy and free, and then it's a little bit lumpy and bumpy here. It just, all the colors together. I just can't even, this turned out better than anything I could have ever imagined. So I'm so excited to finish this. And then came the pants, and let me tell you, the universe decided to humble me quite a bit, but like this is kind of what happened, right? So it's been quite some time since I've made a proper pair of pants that have a zip and a fly guard with a contoured waistband and all of that. So I found myself kind of caught in this weird limbo. I was half trying to dig up this old muscle memory of everything I had learned in my TAFE course, and then I was also half analyzing all these old samples and patterns that I have kept in this folder and trying to kind of reverse engineer all of these skills that I had. And at first I was going fine until I made one executive design choice to lower the waistband, and while that may seem simple, it meant I pretty much had to re-engineer the entire pants. I had to refigure out the darts, take out the front tucks I was originally going to have, as well as adjust the crotch seam. So I was pretty much doing the entire pants from scratch except for the length of them. So I've just done the new twile and finished doing all these little amendments. It has been quite a journey. I've been just trying to perfect these so they kind of just fit and hug but without being tight, because I just have an aversion to tightness around my thighs. Ever since the skinny jeans trend died, I never want to go back there ever again. That can stay in a hole somewhere. I like my legs to be able to move and breathe, so I've just been making these little centimeter by centimeter adjustments, and I think I'm finally at a place that I like. They give the bum like a bit of shape, but then they just kind of drop and have this very like tailored, powerful trouser silhouette that I really like. Here is the fit so far, and let me tell you, when I was making this waistband yesterday, I was quite cursing it. I think I had to redraw it out about 3 times until it got to the right shape. I haven't made a contoured waistband for quite some time, but I'm so happy that I went to the effort to do it, because this is the results. I love it. They're still like quite on the lower side of the waist, and yeah, they just feel super comfy. It fits me perfect. It's not pulling at my stomach too much or anything like that. There is just one last thing that I want to fix though. I just noticed that since I put the waistband on and this is quite fitted here with my sway back, I've noticed there's just like a little bit of tweaking I need to do around the crotch seam here. I've just taken in that back bit and now I'm quite happy with that. So I'm just going to transfer everything over to my pattern now. So this here is a little preview of how these pants are going to look. I've just pinned the little hand woven bits to the side here, but I already love it so much. It's got such a vibe. You can't really see it from afar, but in real life, the colors, like, wow, they just absolutely stand out. I love it. By the time I hit twile number 4, the mental fatigue was real. Pattern making doesn't just take physical labor, it takes an immense amount of brain capacity, because you're basically having to think upside down, inside out, and all in between. You are translating a 3D human body onto a 2-dimensional piece of flat paper, and while I deeply love it, sometimes it is just really, really fucking draining. At the same time, when a complex line finally locks into place, it gives me the exact same rush as solving a brutal math equation or finishing a 5,000 piece puzzle. But by the last 3 days of these 2 weeks, I was completely drained, and I found myself only able to do a tiny bit more, like 30 minutes to an hour, before my brain just said, that is enough for today, I am done. And at this point, I have learned with my 15 years of experience that it's best to just go with your brain and let yourself rest for the rest of the day, because if you continue forward, you only go into burnout, or you end up just doing extra work because your brain's too tired to really register what's going on, and you just make more mistakes and end up doing 20 more steps instead of 2 more steps. So I have really learned from my years of experience that if your brain says no more, that it's just best to take the rest of the day off. So for the sake of mental health and completely avoiding another nervy bee, I just took the rest of the day off and took it slow for those 2 days, and I was so happy because then by the time I did finish the pattern, I wasn't completely drained and I was just really satisfied with what I had done. By this point, you might be thinking, okay, that's all well and good, but why would you spend 2 weeks agonizing over a few millimeters here and there? It's kind of because that's how patterns work. Once a master pattern is complete, you basically never change it again. It is the blueprint, and if I ever want to make this pattern again, it's gonna be exactly the same. Or for instance, if I decided to sell them and grade them into a full size set, the entire mistake will just copy onto every single piece. So any tiny little mistake in this original pair is going to act like a game of Chinese whispers, and that little error here, that little bit of sagging there, it'll just keep passing along and getting worse and more distorted with every single size. And this level of meticulous craft is exactly why fast fashion either A, fits terribly and every size is just kind of different. You could be a size 10 in one thing, a size 6 in another brand, and a size 20 in another brand. Or it's also where you start to kind of realize that buying a pair of pants online for $30 in 2 clicks, we completely forget the sheer volume of human hours, maths, and failed mock-ups required to make fabric actually flatter a human form. And when you start to do this yourself, it kind of forces you to respect the cost of creation. You realize how horribly underpriced fast fashion is and why people have no idea how much it actually costs to make something. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you would like to watch the next video where I make this pattern into the final set with the proper fabric, including all the self-woven bits that I am weaving on my own loom, then don't forget to subscribe so that you can get notified as soon as it comes out. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye!